NRL Sport Bar TV.
Well, welcome to Lyle Peacock Oval here in Toronto. A beautiful Saturday afternoon, and we're here for the minor semi-final of the Newcastle Rugby League. There's a big crowd in here today. It feels a little bit bigger because I couldn't get a park today. They're not allowing cars into the ground, so there's a queue all the way back towards Toralba. But it's a very big day indeed. All 8 teams have played in all of the grades today. So there's plenty in and plenty of anticipation. Macquarie, well, they're looking to break a very, very bad streak. They've lost their last 7 games in semi-finals competition. They need to break that today if they're to survive. Cessnock, they had their best game of the season last week against Central Charlestown. They won 48 points to 4. If they play like that again today, they'll be very, very hard to stop indeed. My name's Morgan Campbell. It's a pleasure to be with you. And I'm joined by Ben Homer. Ben, good afternoon to you. Thanks for coming in at late notice off the bench in the number 18. And who do you fancy today and why?
Well, it's going to be an interesting clash between those two sides. As you said, that is an incredible stat. Macquarie, I've been having a look because I've been doing the NPL, the soccer this year. I've been always having a look at what's been going on in the real NRL. So this is going to be an interesting clash. Macquarie finishing higher on the ladder. Cessnock lower down, but I think Cessnock are coming after that big result over Central last week, 48-4. I think they're just warming up Cessnock, and I'm gonna tip them this afternoon, Morgan. Yes,
that's a very popular tip with us Cessnock folk. But welcome wherever you're watching. This is going to be a very big day indeed. And, of course, tomorrow the action continues at Harker Oval with West playing up against Lakes. Ben, we might go through the sides. If you could take us through the Macquarie side.
Yep, for Macquarie at fullback, number 1, Mitch Manson. 2 on the wings, Matt Hay and Malik Diallo. You'll have to help me with that one.
That'll be Diallo.
Diallo. Number in the centres, Randall Briggs and Royce Jeffrey. At 5'8" is Andrew Sumner. Halfback is Michael Moran. 8, Matt Jeffrey, and 10, Blake Chaffee. In the hooker, it's Jordan Noble. And in the second row, Josh Schmiedel and Simon Allen. At lock, Blake Gallen. 16 on the bench, Travis Edwards. Isaac Briggs in the number 15. 18, Adam Grew. And 14, Mitch Chorush.
Well, for Cessnock, number 1, Ethan Ernst. Number 2, Joe Woodbury. Number 3, Brendan Williams. Number 4, Sean Metcalf. Number 5, Cal Orchard. Number 6, Willie Hedder. Number 7, Liam Foran. Number 8, Dan Metcalf. 9, Josh Dimmick. 10, Brendan Halad. Corey Barber in the 11. 12, Reid Hugo, the Rookie of the Year, as announced on Wednesday night in the real NRL. And 13, Sam Apthorpe. He started the game last week at lock in the 16. Today he starts the game at lock in the 13. On the bench, 14, Brett Stevens. Well, he can play any position. 15, Oliver Powell. 16, and this is a big one for Cessnock, Noah Easton is back from the Newcastle Knights New South Wales Cup side. And I know Reid Hugo got Rookie of the Year, but Noah Easton has been absolutely tremendous for Cessnock when he's been available, and they'll be very grateful indeed to have him back. And number 17 is Zeb Dunstan. Cessnock last week in beating Central 48-4 had 12 of their 17 having come through the junior system there. And that was one of the most satisfying things about the result to a lot of the Cessnock people. As for Macquarie, well, they have knocked off Cessnock twice this year. 38-18 in round 4, 36-16 in round 11. 2 big 20-point wins. And they've got plenty of reason to be confident this afternoon. Ben, I will ask, who do you think are the most important players here today? Who are the men that need to do the job for both sides?
Well, I haven't seen Macquarie play this year, but I have seen Cessnock. I saw them. I did a game when they played Central. And for Cessnock, Liam Foran, definitely a star player from their side. He's come into the side this year, of course, played some NRL, Liam Foran. So I think he's the crucial man out there for Cessnock. If he can turn up and perform well, I think Cessnock will go well. For Macquarie as well, I think you've got to look at the halves. The halves in there in Michael Moran and Andrew Sumner. I think they're 2 important players. And that head-to-head battle with Liam Foran today, it's going to be critical. The kicking game as well. It's a little bit windy, not too bad, but I think that kicking game is going to be crucial this afternoon between both these sides. But the field, I should say, looks in perfect condition out there, Morgan.
It does, doesn't it? Whoever's doing the horticulture here is doing a wonderful job. I was talking to somebody about it earlier today, and they said it used to be an absolute dust bowl here a few years ago, but I think they might have got a bit more funding or something to improve the irrigation, and now it looks an absolute picture. So it's a beautiful canvas for this afternoon's activities. as the grandstand's starting to fill up again. It's one of the funny things on semi-final days when, say, South have just knocked off Maitland 20 points to 14 in reserve grade, and all the Maitland people and the South people have picked up and left. So it looked a lot fuller 5 minutes ago than it does now. But in third grade, incidentally, Central went down 6 points to 4 to Lakes. So Central are out of third grade, Maitland are out of reserve grade, and Curry are out of the under-19s. They lost to Western Suburbs 10 points to 4 earlier today.
Well, yeah, it is interesting when, as you said, those semi-final games with the NPL and the Women's Premier League we were doing as well. You know, you're thinking here's a big crowd for first grade, and then it's the under-22s, and all of a sudden you get to first grade, and it's a little bit lower than what you're expecting. So, yeah, the South and Maitland players still sort of hanging around on the ground. The referees have headed out. John Taylor, my parents have played touch footy with him for many years, and his wife as well. My mum's played touch footy with her for about 30 years.
I would imagine, without knowing, that John Taylor would be a stickler for the rules at touch football.
Well, I don't know. My parents haven't said much about him, but they love his one-liners, so hopefully we'll be able to hear a few of those today.
Yeah, fair enough. The linesmen today, the lines people today, Greg Ricketts and Kylie Aylent, we're just awaiting the players, is all we need here. There's a few kids out on the ground enjoying themselves. It's a beautiful day. The sun's out. There's a bit of breeze. It's all in readiness here.
Looking across to the river there, it does look pretty still, so the wind having limited impact on that. So if there is a bit, it's probably coming right to left of screen.
I like the meteorological input. That's very good. Now,
I'm not going to be a weatherman, but...
Well, in any case, the winner of today's game goes through to play the loser of tomorrow's game. So if say Cessnock were to go through and Lakes were to lose tomorrow, they'd play each other next week for the last spot in the grand final. The winner of tomorrow's game, will they get another week off and go straight through? Have you got an early tip on who you think might win the comp at this stage? I know it's a couple of weeks away.
Well, Western Suburbs have been the benchmark for the last few years. They've been right up there. But I think Cessnock are really warming to the task. I think they're up there. Lakes as well. I think that match, as you said, against Western Suburbs taking on Lakes in that game tomorrow, that's going to be a huge match, because to get straight through to the grand final and not have to play the winner of this match, it's a huge advantage. So I'll look forward to seeing who does get the job done there tomorrow. I'm going to say on season form, you know, Western Suburbs up the top of the ladder. I'm going to say Wests. But in the grand final, I think anyone can win it. As we've seen in all sports, anyone can win in the grand final.
Yeah, I think that's fair. It's been that sort of season. Everyone's been a chance in every single game. And, well, both sides have come out of the field. It's very rare that you see this, both sides coming out side by side. This is like a test match. Nonetheless, a couple of shaking of hands. Interestingly, we've got this face-off again this week. It's the under-8s technique that we see in the real NRL this season. It's not a curious sight at Toronto today. Usually when you come here, you see the whole back of the ground filled with cars, but apparently they're not allowed in today.
Yes, it's interesting. Final series, they seem to not allow the cars into all the local sport.
Well, it caused Ramsey's traffic nightmares this afternoon, trying to get a park at 1:30. But anyway, these things happen. I shouldn't whinge too much.
Yeah, well, I had to park fairly. I only just got here probably 10 minutes ago, and I had to park a fair distance away.
Fassifern train station, you'd imagine.
Nice light jog to the ground.
Yeah. Well, here we go. What's happened there? John Taylor's just throwing something away or something. But all is ready to go here. Willie Hedder's got the ball in hand. He's about to stick it on the tee, and we're about to see the minor semi-final. There's only 4 games to go in the real NRL this season. It's starting to get very, very important indeed. We lost a team last week with Central being dumped out. We lose another one today. So here we go, 3rd versus 4th from the competition rounds. Macquarie up against Cessnock as Willie Hedder gets us underway. And it's a decent kick down the middle of the field to be fielded there by Blake Gallen. And he brings it back very stoutly.
Stand up, boys, stand up. Wait here.
And Macquarie with the first use of the ball, bringing it forward strongly with Simon Allen.
2 movement.
This exact fixture took place last year. Macquarie up against Cessnock at Macquarie. Cessnock got the chocolates that day with plenty of good fortune along the way in a low-scoring affair. Macquarie scored the most points this season. They averaged nearly 30 points a game. You'd imagine this would be a high-scoring one.
Well, the amount of confidence they would get out of that, as you said, Cessnock getting the job done twice this year and in the finals last year, they're going to have a lot of confidence over this Macquarie side.
And they go to the right here, and this is going to be Mick Moran with the first kick of the day. He's got plenty on it. The wind might be a bit of a factor today. Maitland's certainly put a couple out in reserve grade out on the full. But Joe Woodbury brings it back. Cessnock enjoying the continuity of an unchanged side, as this is a good run from Ethan Ernst. Their three-quarter line had an absolute day out last week. Metcalf and Orchard and Woodbury and Brendan Williams all causing havoc. And they're going to go to the right here. We've had one Metcalf. Here's the other one, Big Sean. And you wouldn't be able to tell them apart if you said one plays in the centres and one plays front row. And down the centre they go here. That's a short ball from Dimmick. And Willie Header, well, he's as big as a forward as well. And he gets it away to Metcalf. Cessnock using the ball early here. And it's their last tackle. And back to Hetter. He's going to keep this fairly low and steer it down towards Manson, who's in at fullback today. He played a bit of centre last week. But no Nathan Cantor in the side today for Macquarie. And Manson handled pretty well by the defence. Here's Malik Dayalo. Macquarie fairly aggrieved after last week's game. They had their chances and didn't take them. But there was the incident with Andrew Sumner's appeal for penalty try and appeal for sin bin. They were probably a bit unlucky, at least not to get a sin bin there. It was a pretty important moment in the game, but they still didn't really have too many excuses. But they're working the ball forward well. It's been a neat and tidy start to the game from both teams. As Sumner, he does what he does every week, finding the grass with the kick downfield. And Ethan Ernst is absolutely belted. He took it back hard and he got hit hard. And Royce Jeffrey, I know he plays in the centres, but he's not to be messed with. He hits very hard in defence, and he's made another one there.
Well, it was a really good set there from Macquarie. Got down deep, and it was a good kick, found grass. A couple of good sets from them. They made good meters off the first set and kick-off. So Cessnock up against it at the moment.
So here's Dimmick away to Halad. Oh, he had the fumbles there, but held onto it well. They're sticking pretty much to this right-hand side of the field, but they'll go left now to Foran for his first touch of the day. Short to Hugo. There was a question over the pass, but he hit it hard. Got a try last week, Reid Hugo, then picked up the Rookie of the Year on Wednesday night. It's been a good week as Foran puts it to the sky. This is an ugly kick for Malik Dayalo to handle, but he did it very well. And he's handled well by a good chase. Both teams look up for this, don't they? And now we've got a stoppage. What's happened here?
Don't go there on the head.
He's going to say a high tackle, is he?
Yeah, I think he's giving the penalty to Macquarie.
Yeah, it looks that way. Yeah, high tackle from Sean Metcalf. So Kylie Aylett gave the call. I must say I didn't see too much just watching it live, but that's why they're the lines people and we're the commentators, I suppose.
Yeah, no, I didn't see much at all as well, Morgan. So good relieving penalty because that was a good set from Cessnock. They were deep in their own half when they started the set and a really good kick, put it high, and that was a good take by the winger on this near side, Dayalo. That's going to be a tough one for me to say this afternoon.
Yeah, I've had a few weeks practice. As forward comes Simon Allen, and he'll do that same job all day, out on the edges, carting it up strongly. And Noble, he's busy in at dummy half. Still no Chris Hyde today for Macquarie. They're missing him. As forward comes big Matt Jeffrey. Oh no, that one is Gallen. Now here's Matt Jeffrey on the right, but they go to Sumner on the left instead. And he just puts the kick trickling down towards Ethan Ernst, who nearly got the fumbles there, but he's held strongly by the defence.
Another good set there from Macquarie. Putting it deep. They're 5 metres away from their own goal line, Cessnock, so they're going to do well to get it up and get a decent kick on this one. They're going to need a good kick from either Liam Foran or Willie Hetter at the end of this one.
So here's Cal Orchard. He's been one of the finds of the season for Cessnock. He wasn't in the team at the start of the year, but he's made his way through, got onto that wing and made it his own. As here's Metcalf, and they're going to use that left-hand side, and there's the first fumble of the day. We said it had been a neat and tidy start, not anymore. And Metcalf loses at midfield and gives Macquarie a good opportunity.
Yeah, I'd have to say the opening exchange, as Macquarie have had the better of it, really set the tone from the kick-off. A good set there, and then a couple of good kicks from Sumner. And they've put Cessnock under pressure. They were under pressure at the start of that set. Was taken 5 metres out from their own goal line. So here's the first real opportunity of the game for Macquarie.
And they go over there towards the 2, Matt Hay. He takes it up very strongly. He's got a few fans over there. A few of the Macquarie juniors giving it a bit of a thump on the fence. And now here's Schmiedel. He's a very important man today. He causes damage every single week. And he's hurt Cessnock both home and away this season. They go deep to Moran. He dummies out to Sumner. They're setting up a move out here. Manson, quick hands to Jeffrey. It's a great ball. And Dalu's over in the corner with a great finish. He soared through the air. Ball first and plants it over for the first try of the day. And it's an absolute belter. Straight off the training ground. Macquarie lead at 4-0.
Well, a fantastic try. They finished off their early dominance there. And
we see on the replay there it was. Sumner, the great hands there from Manson. That was the thing that made it, wasn't it?
It's a beautiful sleight of hand. And then the put down. How often do we see it these days from the wingers? Full stretch diving. Fantastic tries.
Yep. Not every winger scores that try. He had plenty of work to do.
It would have been even better if we had a camera down in the corner. We could have seen the through the air slow motion. Fortunately, we're unable to do that.
That sort of technology is in the future.
That's right. Future, couple of years down the track.
That's right. Advancing all the time, Bar TV.
I love this. This is the perfect view from our camera angle for a shot at goal. So, looking forward to seeing what Woodbury can come up. Well, I shouldn't say Woodbury. I should say Matt Hay should come up with here.
So it's Matt Hay with the ball on the tee. You're absolutely right. We're right behind him here, so we'll be able to judge this kick very easily. Here he comes. It's not going over. It's coming around a little bit, but it was a pretty average strike in the end. He got a bit too much height. I think he had the 8-iron out there.
You got a lot of height on that one.
Yeah, but never really looked like going over. So the lead remains at 4, but Macquarie with the dream start there, an early try. You would have to think that having lost 7 finals in a row, there'd be a little bit of nerves, and a try early in the game might just settle them down a little bit.
That's exactly right. Well, I also find, Morgan, when I don't know if it's much in team sports. When I've played individual sports, if you've beaten someone a lot and you keep beating them, you expect to beat them. And if you are in a position where you are struggling or there's a chance that they might win, you get really nervous. So Cessnock have had the wood over them, so they want to keep it that way. So they'd be feeling a little bit of nerves now as well.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Simon Allen bringing it forward. He's been very busy early in the game. Now back inside to Jeffrey. He's a strong runner of the ball as well as a strong defender. They're going right here. They might try something on, but it's Chaffey bringing it forward. Promoted into the starting side since Adam Swaddling's been out. And over to the right they go with Moran. And he puts this straight down the middle. It's a lovely kick. And Ernst has to bring it back.
Gee, they've found the grass well with their end of tackles plays, Macquarie, in the opening moments. It's just a matter of whether they can keep it going for the full 80.
Must make a big difference for wingers and fullbacks to not be able to sweep onto the ball, catch it on the full and continue their run. They're going to stop and pick it up. Just takes metres and time off them.
That's right, it can bounce anywhere.
And this is Woodbury. The Cessnock backs always keen to do a bit of work and help out the forwards. Most of them are as big as the forwards, so it's pretty easy for them. And here's Halad. Doing that job he's done for Cessnock for 5 or 6 years now, just taking it forward strongly. Now Heta. And Barber.
That'll do, Andy.
Down the short side they go with Heta. There's someone falling over there, so the kick might be on. Heta's following it through. Manson's got a juggle, and he didn't handle that. They're going to say knock on. Referee Taylor says knock on against Mitch Manson. He tried to reel that in as it snaked away from him, and Cessnock are going to get a good chance.
Well, he wasn't happy at all, Mitch Manson, with the call. He thought it may have gone backwards, but I thought it was propelled forwards, even though he was facing towards his own goal line. But Willie Heta, it was a really good kick back inside. He probably would have hoped for a little bit more angle towards the post, but in the end it caused the error, and now Cessnock have a chance to hit pretty much straight back.
So here they go, off the scrum, and Heta over to Foran. They might try a set play themselves. What about that set play?
Whoa.
Randall Briggs, dear oh dear, he's just belted Brendan Williams. And now Ernst coming forward. Well, that was absolute savagery. You could see it coming too. And all Williams could do was brace himself. They go left. Foran Over the top there to Woodbury. Woodbury's got it all to do here. And he's dragged down. And they'll set right again. They've got no choice. Here's Foran. And it's back there to Halad. He doesn't mind a snipe close to the line, and he's twisting and turning. He's very ungainly and hard to stop close to the line. They're set deep, Cessnock. Foran looking at Metcalf, goes to Heta, flat to Barber. We saw this a couple of times last week. They love that play. Macquarie were up for it that time. The right, Heta on the boot. Metcalf's coming, so's Orchard. Dayalu's got it. And Dayalu's not going to get out of there. And, well, if they couldn't score, that was the next best thing. They'll get the ball back from the dropout.
Well, they went the short side. I wasn't sure about it. They were outnumbered out there. Macquarie had the numbers on Cessnock there, but a really good kick from Heta and forces the dropout. And now Macquarie with a little bit more defending to do.
There's a good Cessnock contingent in here today. Over there on the George Caesar Hayne Hill. And a few in the grandstand as well. Macquarie well and truly got the numbers, but there's a certain smattering of Cessnock support. They do travel well. As the drop kick goes down to Hugo. And Cessnock, after that shallow kick, can set up 25 out here. It's a beautiful position. And this is Easton on the field already.
2-9 hands out.
And Halad played a lot of the season at lock. He's in the front row today. And they're set out flat to the left and deep to the right here. And they'll go deep to the right with Heta. And Heta goes short there to Ernst. And Ernst has got a bit of work to do. He comes back on the inside. But he's taken down well. Cessnock not throwing too much at them so far. What have they got? A couple of tackles up the sleeves. Very slow play the ball. Now away to Heta. And they set up this way here with Foran. Short ball to Hugo. You can see what he was trying to do. It didn't come off, and now they'll counter with Schmiedel. And Schmiedel's up over the 30. And he's away from a couple. He's terribly hard to stop. And he's bumped off about 4 tackles so far, Josh Schmiedel. And finally, they drag him down on halfway.
Well, fantastic run. Unlucky for Cessnock. It is always unlucky when you drop the ball and all of a sudden you're chasing all the way back down the other end of the field. But what a run there from Schmiedel, getting up to halfway. And now all of a sudden Macquarie have a chance to turn defence right into attack.
It would be a bit of a sickener for Cessnock, wouldn't it, when they were right on their line. Here's Chaffey. That's a great charge. And you can see what they've got lined up here, Macquarie. They're set out deep on the left-hand side. Maybe next time they go flat to Jeffrey.
4 tackles, stand up now.
20 out. They're beautifully poised.
Yeah, got you. Well done.
A bit of scrap in the tackle. Sumner, short ball to Allen. He took one high from Heta. He gets it away there to Noble. Noble away to Jeffrey. And now Manson and Moran. And Moran keeps it and he loses it. He probably needed to throw that. They had the winger all the way over on that side. Pretty much unmarked if they kept the ball going right. But Macquarie turn over the ball.
Well, that's a worry there for Cessnock. Got to shut down that second phase play that was cutting them up. And had Moran been able to get the ball out wide, then Macquarie were in. They had the numbers out wide. It was a great offload from Matt Jeffrey, front rower. Got the arm up above, threw it down and to his fullback, Mitch Manson. And as we said, almost created a big chance for Macquarie. But Cessnock look a little bit fatigued. What are we, 15 minutes in? Did a long chase back down this end of the ground, and they've done a bit of defence in the opening exchanges.
Well, Ethan Ernst getting a bit of treatment there, but he's up on his feet. You're quite right. There's been a bit of action at both ends of the ground already. Plenty of metres being made with the ball. It's a bit warmer than these teams would have played in so far this season. So maybe that'll be a factor later in the game. And here's a charge from Noah Easton. Cessnock bringing it forward, and that's a good charge as well, but he was hit very hard there. I think it was Josh Dimmick.
Help! Stand up now!
And Foran has to deputise at dummy half. Halad. The roll forward is good from Cessnock. 40 metres and 4 tackles. Over to Foran. He's going to stick this on the boot. He's put plenty on it, but it's swung in the breeze. And Mitch Manson's able to claim it on the full. We talked about that as being important, and you could see it there. He swept onto the ball and was able to straight away start the advance up the field. And now Macquarie are running out of dummy half.
Yeah, that's the difference at the moment. Just the kicking game. Liam Foran finding the chest of Moran there. And when Macquarie have put their kicks in, both Sumner and Moran have both found the grass. So at the moment it's Macquarie just marginally with a better kicking game, and that's allowing them to get up the field and get good field position.
So both sides have been finding themselves in the other's half of the field off ordinary sets of 5 or 6 here. As this kick goes up high, and Ernst, well, he didn't look confident, but he took it in the end. And now they're going to go on a little run, and he's going to go on a decent run there and beat the first tackler. And he's still going.
Help! Stand up, Blake!
They've tried a few at fullback this year, Cessnock. They, of course, had Kerrod Holland stolen away by the Knights.
Help! Help!
They tried Geordie Connolly there, and they've tried Brent Mendyke. But it's Ethan Ernst who's got the job for the finals. Here's Metcalf.
Well, it wasn't a bad kick coming down 5 metres out, but the chase wasn't great because they were all in front of the kicker. That was the issue. And we got...
Just go back.
What's happening here? Well, I think this might be a go back and play it on the mark sort of thing.
Move up, Josh Moodle.
Yeah.
Move up.
Nothing disturbs the flow of the game more than that.
Move up. Let's go. 3, go.
I don't really think it would have made that much a difference if they'd played the ball 30 centimetres further up the field. But anyway, Dan Metcalf's got it.
I thought if they're off the mark, it was a penalty straight away, so it was a strange call.
Now header away to Barber. And that's a good bustling run from Barber. He's taken a few metres off them there. And they look left, Hatter, Foran. And he's going to put a bit of a chip kick on here, and all of a sudden Woodbury's got some space to run into. He wasn't able to field it, but Williams was. And he's taken down on last tackle well. It was a bit of a damp squib in the end, but a bit of invention and intent from Cessnock there. 17 and a half minutes gone in the game. Macquarie lead at 4-0.
Well, as you said, Morgan, Cessnock in the last 2 sets have really rolled up the field well with the forwards. So Cessnock maybe just warming to the task at the moment. It's been a grind the first 18. So Macquarie have got to counter that here.
And out the back they go. This is Jeffrey. We've got the 8 and the 4 in both sides having the same name. We've got an 8 and a 4 Metcalf for Cessnock and an 8 and a 4 Jeffrey for Macquarie. I'm not saying that means anything. I'm not saying it's an omen of any kind. I just thought I would bring it to your attention. I just realised myself.
I love a good stat, Morgan. That is a very good one. It's almost as good as that Macquarie last 7 finals.
There you go. Up it goes from Moran, and that's Orchard who's got the job here, and he did very, very well. He had to lean forward, and he had Sumner for company. He did that job very well indeed.
Well, that was a fantastic take. There is nothing harder, especially in rugby league, taking the catch with defenders flying at you. I think he got a couple of knees in the head for his trouble.
He
looks
did.
like Metcalf's
Bit
down.
of trouble here. This is Sean Metcalf. Getting a bit of attention here. Now, they're not going to blow this up. See if we can see what happened to him here. Here he is in the tackle. Did he cop any work here? Didn't look to. There's nothing obvious that we can see there unless it was earlier in the tackle. Let's have a look. Well, he might have just hit the ground a little bit hard there as they dragged him down, but it didn't look... There's nothing obvious there. He's up anyhow.
If anything, it would have been his neck or back of his head. There was a little bit. There was no crusher tackle, but there was a little bit of pressure as he was going down on the back of his neck.
Yeah, a lot of wrestling going on. As they go to the right here, this is Easton. He's keen to get involved, back with Cessnock after a few weeks away. And they will be very grateful, as I said. Oh, sure enough, the commentator's curse. Long may it live. There you go. You give a bloke a rap and he drops the ball. So Noah Easton spills it. Macquarie got another chance here. Starting a set inside Cessnock's half.
Well, Morgan, looking at the stats so far, Macquarie with the 3 errors, Cessnock with 2. But of those 3 errors from Macquarie, 2 have been made inside their own half. So that's critical. Cessnock don't want to... 2 of those errors of Cessnock's have been made down their own half. So they don't want to be doing that.
Can't do it in semi-finals. They're always tight games, and you can't be giving the opposition chances because they're generally hard to come by. So Macquarie starting this set in terrific position. This is Schmiedel off a standing start. He's been such an addition for them this year. Oh, hang on, he's dropped it as well. Oh, no, they say play on. Taylor was sorely tempted to blow the knock on there, and now they've given a forward pass. And there's a bit of scuffle in there as well. And a bit of George Burgess action. The ball was thrown at his head there. It was that a couple of weeks ago in the South Roosters game. Was it Paul Carter who got the ball thrown at him and headbutted the trainer? Did you see that?
Yeah, I did say that. Because I was watching and I remember the headbutt, them speaking about it. But also, yeah, George Burgess with the water bottle.
Water bottle, yeah.
I was a bit sad about that this week. What did you think about that? I know Paul Vaughton was absolutely furious about it.
I think it was a little bit precious. I think 2 weeks for that, a little bit precious. Yeah,
I think 2 weeks is a bit much. If you give him a week, well, you know.
I think he was very hard done by. Here's Metcalf. And steaming onto that. That's a good charge. Nothing wrong with him. He's all right. And that's the 15 out on the field. That's Oliver Powell. He's in at dummy half. And they're hitting hard and running hard here, both these sides. There's plenty of physicality in the game. And now Powell snapping out of dummy half. And away there to Metcalf. He's very keen to get involved. That's 4 or 5 hit-ups he's made from the centres. And now Foran out there to Ernst. And Ernst went on a bit of a mazy run there. And they're set up to the right, but they go to the left, and Foran kicks it back in field. And you can see Willie Hedder's coming for this, and he might grab it. He's still a chance, but Sumner takes it. And Hedder's got him, but he's going back in goal. So a good little bit of play there from Cessnock. A trick shot back on the inside. And even though Hedder couldn't grab it, they forced the dropout. It's the second of the game. Well,
fantastic kick again back into the middle. Weren't ready for it. Manson couldn't get back in time. Knocked it backwards and, as I said, cleaned up by Sumner. And couldn't get back out. Cessnock's defence too strong. Macquarie, it's starting to be a little bit harder for them defensive-wise. Cessnock have had 10 tackles in the opposition's 20 in Macquarie's 20. Macquarie have only had 3 down the other end of the ground, so it's starting to mount now for Cessnock.
A bit of a wonky dropout again, but they can be dangerous. Not that time. And Dan Metcalf carts it back strongly.
Tackle! Stand up, Green!
4-0, 18 minutes to go in the first half here. On Bar TV, Morgan Campbell and Ben Homer. Sorry, I was going to say Josh Mason. Morgan Campbell and Ben Homer with you.
I think Josh is in Tamworth, actually.
He is indeed. Here's Foran. Short ball out the back. There's Ernst. They've got the numbers this time. Ernst goes on a weaving run, and he decided not to throw it. Woodbury might be a little bit aggrieved about that, but they get on with it now. Woodbury's going to have a go himself.
Tackle 4.
And they're lucky they got a couple of tackles in hand, or there might have been an inquiry there. Cessnock set deep here. Foran. Over to Halad. As Dan Metcalf comes from the field. Now it goes over there to Foran. A long ball out there, and Jeffrey made a very important intervention, because if Metcalf had caught that, it would have been try time. It still might be with Apthorpe. But Apthorpe's dragged down. Powell goes himself. He's close to the line. They've got 6 more tackles, so they can take the chance. Hetter's in a dummy half. Over there to Foran. What have they got? He called him inside. And this is Easton close to the line. We've seen him do that a few times this year. Big chance this for Cessnock. Right they go. Hetter. That wasn't the play. That was all pretty meek, and it's taken a bit of the momentum out of them. Powell. Foran to Hugo. He bustled onto that. It was a great tackle round the legs from Mick Moran on the bigger man. Foran. Over there to Apthorpe. Apthorpe holding the ball in one hand. He might be tempted to reach out here, but he doesn't get the chance. Last tackle. Great defence from Macquarie. Hetter, long ball out there to Metcalf, who gets the ball down. And the bow finally breaks. Cessnock go over for their first. And how many times have we seen that this season? Sean Metcalf, too big and too strong, close to the line. It's 4-all with a kick to come.
Wasn't a bad idea going to it on the last play. The centres and wingers sort of just take a step back, ready for the kick. Nice flat ball to Sean Metcalf, and he bulldozed his way over. And you expected that. Cessnock, 19 tackles in the opposition 20. For Macquarie, just the 3. So they're fatiguing Macquarie in defence, and as you said, finally a damn burst. Have a look at the replay.
You can see Apthorpe, he did put a bit of a dent in them with that run when he went past one. And what you say is right. As they went flat there, Royce Jeffrey just a little bit flat-footed. He's usually a good defender, but a big bloke like that coming that hard was always going to be favourite.
But I must say, Morgan, Cessnock's attack, I should say, is pretty ordinary up to that point. They weren't creating many opportunities. They weren't asking many questions. And in the end, it was Sean Metcalf, too big, too strong, that really got them over the line. So they want to improve that. Macquarie, I don't think they can be too disappointed with that, conceding last play. Get a bit of confidence out of that, but they won't want Willie Hedder to put this one over because they'll feel like they're right in the game, and to be down after being right in it for the opening 25 would be disappointing for them.
It's a bit of a clutch play for Cessnock. When in doubt, go the big bloke close to the line. They love it. As here's Hedder. And that one looks like it's arrowing its way over. It is. It just snuck around the back of the left upright to plenty of applause from the crowd. I did say there's plenty of Cessnock people in here today, and they've got the lead, 6 points to 4. 14 minutes to go in the first half.
Well, big set here for Cessnock. They want to consolidate that try. No errors in this set, they want. Great take from Ernst.
Was indeed, Ethan Ernst sliding into it. Lovely take. Always difficult running onto the ball like that when it's kicked. As here's Powell. He's made a little bit of a difference since he's come on. A bit of snap out of dummy half.
Well, Pete Jolie and I saw a bit of the two knees on the ground catching action in the Group 21 grand final last week.
Are you sure they were catching them two knees on the ground, or are you sure after 40 minutes of extra time they weren't all crawling around the field?
Oh, it was an incredible game. If you haven't seen it,
might be a
check
snap
it
at
out.
40-20 here from Hedder, and it's just bending and twisting, and oh dear, the old Watusi there from Mitch Manson, but he got away with it.
It reminded me of Glenn Maxwell in the cricket last night. Did you see that catch?
That was amazing. He had a pretty good night in a losing side, 85 with the bat and a couple of good catches. I think the one at backward point was even better.
Well, unfortunately for me, take some great catches, but we didn't win, so it doesn't matter. Comes to nil.
Stand up, Goey. 3.
A bit of work in the tackle here. Referee Taylor must be tempted to go the penalty there. He thought better of it. I reckon Cessnock got away with one. They're really slowing it down. Matt Jeffrey, incidentally, he's just come off the field. And that looks like the 15, Isaac Briggs, who's on. And I think he might have just thrown a forward pass. At the very least, it's a knock-on. And there's a bit of snap, sure enough. Isaac Briggs against Liam Foran. Two of the more combustible players in this competition. And there's a bit in this. He did the same thing last week, Isaac Briggs. As soon as he came onto the field, there was a blue.
John Taylor has kept the whistle in his pocket pretty much for most of this game. Penalties, just the one. Macquarie got a penalty very early on, 5 minutes in. Since then, pretty much none at all. Well, none at all, actually.
Yeah, you do see it in the finals. The rules do tend to get relaxed a little bit. It's a funny thing, isn't it? They're more strict during the regular season than in the finals, but it does make for a bit more continuity in the game. Now here's Corey Barber, getting plenty of encouragement from the crowd, and again he beats that first man. It's a good charge. And Powell over there to Apthorpe. He was really strong last week, Sam Apthorpe. Noah Easton's just come off the field. The 14, Brett Stevens, is on now. He's Foran, holding it up and giving it out the back. And poor old Ethan Ernst got cut in half there by Randall Briggs around the legs. There's a bit of push and shove again. It's bubbling away. But Macquarie get it back. The attack comes to naught for Cessnock.
Well, I think we've seen a few errors the last few moments of the game. Last 5 minutes, we've seen plenty of errors. I don't think it's due to the fatigue. I think the sides, probably the opening 20 minutes, they were a bit conservative. They weren't throwing the long balls out wide. And now all of a sudden both sides are starting to chance their arm and the ball is being spilled. So I don't think it's a case of fatigue. I think it's a case of both sides getting themselves into the game now. They're starting to go for a little bit more in attack.
Yeah, both these sides very keen to score points. They've done it all year. Now we're going to go back here. What's this all about? I don't think he was off the mark there. There was a bit of afters in the tackle. But referee Taylor sends him back to where he already was. Anyway, here's Royce Jeffrey.
2 square markers.
And Allen putting in a good shift. And that's a good charge. That lifts the crowd and lifts his team. And suddenly they can get a roll on here. And Noble likes to snipe out a dummy half. And they're steaming up the field all of a sudden, Macquarie. Sumner's in there. It was a scrappy play, the ball. There's a bit of an inquiry from the Cessnock support. Now here's Gallen. The ball's knocked down, but it'll be play on to Manson. They're going to play the advantage. The referee put the whistle to the mouth and then didn't blow it. And suddenly they're going to say, well, I thought they were going to say play on and 6 to go. But referee Taylor is going to say knock on Macquarie. Well.
Gee, I thought that was a knock on from Cessnock. I was almost certain. We'll have to have a look at that.
Yeah, might try and get a replay of that. I think you're right there, Ben. I think it was a knock-on from Cessnock as they went over to that left-hand side. It looked like someone from Cessnock just came flying through and knocked it down. Let's have a look. It was Sumner and then Gallen through the pass. And, oh, yeah, every day of the week. Every day of the week. They've got away with one there, Cessnock. That could have been 6 to go right on the line. But read about it in the paper tomorrow. Here's Sam Apthorpe. And it's Brendan Halad. Both sides, their forwards have been coming forward very strongly, taking metres all the time. They're big packs.
Well, I'm surprised why John Taylor let the play go on there. And then all of a sudden he decided to pull it back, so he must have got a goal from his touch judge.
I think he might have thought if they score, I'll be able to have a longer conversation maybe and double check. But as this kick is an absolute beauty from Willie Header down into that corner, there's nothing you can do with them ones.
As I said, first 10 minutes, Macquarie were dominating the kicking game, and Cessnock have really warmed to the task now, starting to cause Macquarie some headaches all around the park.
Yeah, they've got into their work well, haven't they? And this particularly in the last 20 minutes. There's 8 and a bit minutes to go here. Cessnock lead at 6-4 on Bar TV. And I hope you're enjoying it wherever you happen to be watching. As Malik Dalo brings the ball forward off the scrum. All the finals live on Bar TV this season. And of course the grand final on the 27th of September will be taking all 4 games, all 4 grades, starting at about 10:30 in the morning. Everybody in the Bar TV commentary box is going to have a box of lozenges between them and get it sorted out. 4 games over about 8 hours of broadcasting.
Looking forward to it in Hunter Stadium, so I think I'm doing one of the earlier games. So looking forward to that one, Morgan. It's going to be a fantastic day.
Certainly is. As here's Andrew Sumner, jamming the ball downfield, finds the grass again, splits the fullback and the winger. And it's Ethan Ernst who has to bring it back. He's been pretty safe at the back.
Macquarie just trying to shift the momentum there. Really good kick there. So they need defence here, Macquarie, to back it up.
Yeah, they're coming up hard now. There's a bit of a moment there for Briggs. The ball came out. The referee didn't say 6 to go. And Hatter comes forward with it. And that was a big carry. Over to Stevens. And Stevens threw the dummy close to the line. Took a few more metres. Now Foran. He might be tempted to snap a 40-20 here, but he's gone back inside. And the bounce is highly unfavourable. And Malik Dayalu was able to pick it up on the 30, when if it had gone the other way, Manson would have had it on the 10. On such things can a game turn.
That's exactly right. It wasn't a bad kick. Found the grass, but it just popped up, bounced back towards Cessnock's line. As you said, Dayalu grabbing it in great field position here for Macquarie. They need to make it count right before the break.
Here's Schmiedel, dangerous out there, but they cut him down. Metcalf on the sideline was happy with that. As they go down the short here, Moran away to Briggs. Might be having a dance with the sideline here. He does. It's big defence from Cessnock, and crowds absolutely love that when that happens. It shows a lot of intent and sting in the defence, and they picked him up and said, here, come over here over the sideline. And they get it back in decent position themselves.
Yeah, Macquarie got themselves decent field position and then go to the short side. And I didn't think it was that close to the sideline over there, but Cessnock's defence picked him up, escorted him over the sideline, and now Cessnock have a good start to the set, 40 metres out from their own goal line.
It's been that sort of game, hasn't it? There's been a couple of mistakes in it in the last few minutes, but the momentum's just drifted both ways at various times. Here's Cal Orchard. He met very strongly there. That's the 16 on the field for Macquarie. That's Travis Edwards. He's making an impact there. Here's Halad. That's a good run. He had 12 metres on that run before he got to the defence. They were a bit slow up, Macquarie. Inside, here's a play. And it's Apthorpe. A bit of set play, training ground stuff from Cessnock. Looking a bit slick. Powell, Foran, Orchard midfield. He's dangerous in there. And he's very dangerous. He's passed a couple. And he's finally inside the 10 when he's dragged down. That was a good bit of play. They're throwing a bit at them here, Cessnock. Trouble out right wide. Heta, Metcalf. Why not try it again? Taken down. Good tackle.
Don't spoil it.
Out the back to Heta. The kick's on towards the goalpost here. It's knocked on. Foran just has to fall on it, and he doesn't. Because there was a Macquarie player there to save the day. But it'll be a dropout. There was a bit more in that attack from Cessnock.
Well, it was a great kick from Willie Heta. Looking for the post. Almost found it. Spilled right next to them. And this is a massive opportunity right before half-time for Macquarie. They've got to be thinking, we've got to get through this. We can get through this set. It'll give us a lot of confidence. These are the critical moments. These are the moments before half-time that the game can just get away from you. They need to keep in it here, Macquarie, with some good defence.
Absolutely
Cessnock,
right.
they'll be looking to try and get over.
Absolutely right. It's to be a real kick in the guts for Cessnock to score here. Now, what's happening at this CWA meeting? Here we go. We're calling it up. Inappropriate application of the jam to the cream and the scone there. What's going on? Oh, they didn't have a ball. Oh, there you go. The fast that is the modern scrum. It's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
Oh, gee. The rugby league scrum, an embarrassment to world sport, I think.
Absolutely. Here's Liam Foran, taken a bit high there.
But Macquarie's errors, hopefully, just checking the tackle, eight errors in this first half already.
Yep, as here's Halad. They have generally got a mistake in them, Macquarie. They do give you a chance. Out the back to Foran. And Heta. And Orchard, he patted out in front of him. And he was never going to hold that. He did get a fingertip to it despite the protests from the Cessnock support. The play there just didn't quite come together. The timing wasn't right. Interesting bit of tactics, though. It was Orchard playing as a fullback in attack there, and Ethan Ernst out on the wing.
Well, Macquarie breathe a massive sigh of relief there. Barry Moore and coaching staff will as well. And now they've just got to try and consolidate here, get out of their own half. Cessnock will be looking to force an error.
Yeah, I don't know where Barry Moore and Adam Bettrich are today. They're usually very vocal if they're up in the grandstand as Schmiedel goes on a run. If something doesn't go their way, you can usually hear about it from about a 4 kilometre radius, but I can't see them, so I don't know where they've chosen to take it in. As here's a run from Mitch Manson, and he's dragged down around the legs. Macquarie, suddenly they can go on a bit of a roll. Here's Noble. It's the second time he's done that, got them rolling out of dummy half.
I thought Cessnock were lucky there. There were plenty offside there.
Away they go. Out the back, Moran. Oh, it was a trouble there for Briggs. Up came Foran, but he didn't get him.
Help! 5 and last.
And they're looking right here. Moran's got it again. And he's going to ask the question. Throw it up in the air. Orchard's got the challenge. He didn't get near it. But Heta in the end, it fell right into his lap. And it was very lucky indeed there for Cessnock. Heta's having a bit of a disagreement with Briggs in the background.
Play the ball.
And it's a disagreement which isn't going too much further. But they are going to stop play because there's people coming from everywhere.
It's the open fist push and shove.
Yeah, it's the same.
So
You're not allowed to punch anymore. This is the best they can do. But that was very lucky from Cessnock because as the ball bounced, Orchard didn't get near it. And it just happened to pitch and spin and land right in the stomach of Willie Heta. Could have gone anywhere.
That's right. Well, I didn't know if John Taylor was going to call it a knock-on. I thought it hit Macquarie, whoever the Macquarie player was, I didn't get the number plate. Thought it hit him on the chest, so I was hoping he wasn't going to call it back for a knock-on. But in the end, luck's a fortune for Cessnock there.
But it is curious that Cal Orchard all of a sudden is playing at fullback here. So whether there's... that's an ugly tackle. Orchard's okay, but it's an ugly twisting tackle. I think it was Blake Gallen at the bottom of it. And I just never understand why they want to do that. After everything that's happened over the last couple of years, why you would pick a bloke up like that and jam him into the turf, I'll never know.
It's the old lifting of the back leg. Causes so many problems.
So here comes Corey Barber.
Big set here for Cessnock, Morgan.
Absolutely right. That was a big tackle, got him going backwards, but they'll sniff this with 59 seconds to go. A try here would be a sickener. It's Powell in at dummy half. Away there to Stevens.
3 hands off.
Over to Foran. Inside ball there to Apthorpe. They've tried that a couple of times. What have they got up the sleeve with a couple of tackles to go in the half? Slow play the ball. Here's Hetta. He's going to put the drop goal. Oh, he's put the drop goal over and it's come off the post. Well, I don't know. I don't know what good a 7-4 lead would be, but you never know, I suppose. But Willie Hetta, he thought, oh, well, he snapped the drop goal over. It was an absolute cow of a kick. Very, very flat and off the post. Maybe that was the ploy. Maybe they wanted to have a bit of a lottery when it came back off the upright. Very, very, very bold tactic, if so.
Gee, it's a strange one. 7-4 lead, as you said. I didn't quite get that one, but that interesting. I haven't been here at Peacock Field. I like the siren. It's an interesting sound.
Yeah, it's interesting technology. I think it's a horn up against a microphone. But anyway, that's the half here at Toronto. And Cessnock, despite Willie Hetta's best efforts, do go in on an even score. It's 6-4 Cessnock lead it. Goal kicking is the only difference on the scoreboard so far. A very interesting half. Tight, toughly fought, some hard hits and hard tackles. Both sides just struggling to get it together a little bit in the back line. Your thoughts on the first half, Ben?
Well, yeah, a few errors. They were adding up there at the back end of the first half. 8 from Macquarie, and for Cessnock, there was 5 there. But they forced Macquarie three-line dropouts. Cessnock had the best of the attack. They had 22 tackles in Macquarie's 20. So Macquarie done very well. They've done very well to keep the scoreline to 6-4. So they'll have a little bit of confidence. They're behind, so they've got to try and keep themselves in at second half and come out, get the opening points, and all of a sudden they'll get a little bit of energy out of that one. Penalties have been even at 1 apiece, so it's anyone's game at the moment, Morgan. Low scoring, a grinding contest, but Macquarie's had the defence to keep up with Cessnock's attack.
Yeah, the momentum and the flow of the game have just shifted a couple of times already in this first half, and that probably suggests that that'll happen a bit more in the second. Macquarie came out after half-time last week against Lakes and put 2 quick tries on. Can they do it again? Well, we'll find out in a few minutes. We're going to go to a break on Bar TV, and we'll come back for the second half here between Macquarie and Cessnock in just a few minutes.
Real guys, real sport. Bar TV. Real Sport Bar TV.
Well, welcome back to Lowell Peacock Oval for the second half here between Macquarie and Cessnock. Cessnock lead at 6 points to 4 at half-time. A cagey, tense sort of first half, a bit like that Roosters-Melbourne game last night. Neither side giving too much away.
Yeah, and then it came to life in the last 20, so hopefully the same thing happens here.
Yeah,
Get
exactly
a few tries.
So what do you think these sides need to do here? What do you think Macquarie need to do to get back in front?
Well, I think Macquarie just made too many errors in the first half. They were down their own end for a majority as we get underway. I think that's really what Macquarie need to be looking at. For Cessnock, they need to be finishing their chances. Made too many errors down the attacking end. Of their 5 errors, they made 3 while they were on the attack. So they need to cut those out and turn those drop balls into tries.
Well, we've got the first set of the second half here, and it's Sam Apthorpe bringing it forward. And he's up to the 40. It's a good, strong carry.
Stand up, Blake. Wait for it.
And header. And they're going to go wide early here, over to Barber. And he's been lurking out there. He's been very dangerous. He's been a good replacement. They were lucky to get him back as Apthorpe takes it up a second time.
Josh, hands out. White line it.
Corey Barber was over with Lee in the second division of the English Super League.
Onside.
And he's come back. As here goes the kick, and Manson's under it. Manson hasn't got it. Reed Hugo does, and throws the Hail Mary over the back. And it should be 6 to go here as Orchard picks it up, and he's going to put it on the toe because it wasn't 6 to go, and the ball is going to go dead. A bit of enterprise there. And Mitch Manson, well, it was an unenviable task there. He was under the ball with 2 Cessnock players coming flying at him. But they get away with it. But a nervous start to the second half.
It was a tough take in the end. I probably agree with the call in the end. It was a rake in the end. So, yeah, I didn't really see who actually had control of the ball. So, tough whether it's 6 to go or whether it's a 20-metre tap here for Macquarie. So, well, they took the grubbing kick. Wasn't one of the best efforts, and now they get 7 tackles. So Macquarie have to make it count here.
So that's Josh Schmiedel with the ball. He's the man they'll be keen to get involved. Loves that offload. They've shut it down pretty well so far. But if he gets a couple away, they'll be really dangerous. That's what happened in round 4 and in round 11. He terrorised them. There's away to Gallen they go. Out the back to Sumner. And now Allen. Inside to Gallen. And Gallen's got a bit of territory here to run into. It opened up for him. You don't see the big lock in the gap like that too often.
That second phase play from Macquarie had hurt Cessnock in the first half. Big chance here for them.
Here's Briggs. He was past the first tackler but lost his footing. Last tackle. Well placed here. And they go deep to Sumner, who was very quick up to the line. And now Manson with those quick hands again. And it didn't work this time for Jeffrey. And Dealou was picking up a lost cause over on the left. Cessnock's defence was much more alert that time. Manson got his pass away, but Jeffrey didn't get his.
Well, now the error's starting to mount up down the attacking end for Macquarie. That's up to 6 now out of the 9 they've made, been down inside Cessnock's 20-metre line. So they need to improve that.
There's a big second phase from Cessnock. Big offload there. Very dangerous bit of play. I think it was Brett Stevens who threw it. And now Reed Hugo. And 2 tackles in. They're over the 30. And looking for a forward. And Hlad, I don't know if he was quite expecting that. He was a little bit flat-footed, but he caught it and went on. Powell's in at dummy half. Over there to Foran. He's outside the 40, so Hay needn't stress too much, but he might have to stress now because he got a hand on it. But he gets back to retrieve. And a cracker of a tackle around the legs there from Brendan Williams.
Great kick to end the set, and a really good set there from Cessnock. That it started down their own end.
There's a bit of
Macquarie with some tough stuff.
Bit of invective from the Caesar Hayne Hill there towards referee Taylor. They reckon the Cessnock players were offside. As here comes Gallen, and he's met strongly by Barber.
4, stand up, going.
Got him down at the second time of asking. Here's Sumner. They're trying that left-hand side. They fancy it over there, and this is Jeffrey. And all of a sudden, he's got a bit of space and a bit of pace, and he's up the centre, Royce Jeffrey. But he's surrounded by Cessnock players, and he was swung to the ground like a sheep in the end. And they've got all their numbers to the right. They have to go that way. It's Moran on the toe. Schmiedel's coming for it. And it was very brave
Stand up.
Very brave indeed from Brett Stevens to fall on the ball. And Cessnock, they escape.
Well, that's a game changer from Stevens there to take that under that intense pressure from Macquarie, not spill the beans. He did wonderfully well. Drops the ball or it goes into the in goal. Macquarie on the attack, and now all of a sudden after that long run down the ground, Macquarie will feel a little bit disappointed they didn't get him as much
it's on
out of
again
that.
here. No, it was for a second. Brendan Williams following Sean Metcalf's always a good idea, but he just couldn't handle it. And they're lucky there, Macquarie, because he would have been away. There were hands in the ruck there from Metcalf as well, and the penalty I think is going to be given here. No, it's a forward pass. Well, bit of controversy there. I think Metcalf might have been meddling in the tackle. But they give it a forward pass, and Cessnock get the ball. It's just starting to bubble away now. The first half was cagey, but the second half, the sides are showing a little bit more.
Macquarie would be very frustrated. A couple of errors start the second half, made down the attacking end. They don't want to be doing that. Time's ticking away. They've still got plenty of time, but they want to get a bit more confidence with the ball in hand.
So here's Callum Orchard. He's very, very strong in the upper body there. He beats the first tackle more often than not, despite being a winger. Well, I suppose that's the modern winger in rugby league, isn't it? They've got to be big and strong and do the work of a forward. And this is Apthorpe. Makes a lot of runs when he is on the field. Foreign now, inside to Halad. And they've tried that a couple of times down that corridor, down the middle of the field. And it's working for them again. Now Foreign will try it again. And they go to Hetta. And over there to Ernst in the headband. And he's done that same thing a couple of times, weaving his way forward. Now Hetta again and Foreign. The halves getting involved. Stevens back to Foreign. Over there to Orchard. If they get it wide, they've got the numbers, but they don't. Orchard fancies it himself. Last tackle. Well placed here. Foreign. Is he going to kick? Is he going to pass? He kicks in the end, and it's an absolute beauty. No worry about Glenn Maxwell. That was a ripper from Michael Moran. He might have been a bit lucky because it was kicked straight at him, but he was good enough to hold it. And Macquarie, they're going to counter.
That was a beautiful take from Moran. Stopped the ball in its tracks. Winger calling for it on this near side for Cessnock. Joe Woodbury, the hand up in the air, had it got through. It's a big chance for him. Changing the momentum there. Good take from Moran, but game really opening up. There's been some more space down the middle and out wide, so I'm thinking we're going to see plenty of tries in the second half.
Yeah, there's a lot more intent. Here's Schmiedel looking to throw that offload. No chance. Liam Foreign, he knows what the go is, and now there's a bit of a scrap on. They're targeting Schmiedel like Lakes did last week, getting up and whacking him before he can get the ball away. And Orchard brings it back. Game opening up now.
Hooker down here for Macquarie.
Yeah, Jordan Noble. He looks a bit crook. Oh, there's a spin tackle again. And he might be a bit sore, Cal Orchard. He's going to get up. Noble's up as well. And now Woodbury. And there's some sting in these tackles and in these runs.
Macquarie are really muscling up in defence.
Yeah, but it's warming up. Here's Metcalf. One of these sides will be out at the end of the day. They've got no excuse not to put in. And away they go. It's Halad. Cal Orchard, he got to his feet to play the ball. He's now 40 metres behind play, getting attention. And they go to the right with Hetta. And Barber. Strong run, Corey Barber. Last tackle. Another great chance for Cessnock. Hetta, he's going to kick over here to Joe Woodbury, who's very, very good in the air. It's a long way from home, and it's going to trickle into touch. Coach Miller not too pleased. He's just given the dugout there a good kicking, and I hope nobody was sitting in front of him.
Well, a bit of an error, as you said. Miller not happy at all with that from Cessnock. Macquarie getting out of jail on that occasion, but still, after that, they made those couple of errors. They had their chances down the attacking end, wasted them away, and now they've got themselves into the grind. So they need to get something probably the next 10 minutes or so. Get themselves a little. We've got a penalty here, but they need a bit of confidence, Macquarie. They seem to be playing without confidence. Yeah,
it was a high tackle there on Dalew. I think it was Brendan Halad who came over the top. Now Cal Orchard's running back. Oh no, he's just going to collect the kick for touch. I thought he might be going off, but he is staying on. Kick for touch. There's a bloke with a can of 2 he's new who's tried to catch it and ended up just flapping it away. Seems a bit disappointed with himself too. As here's Schmiedel. He met very strongly there. Oliver Powell, the dummy half, getting in and doing the work. There might be another penalty here if they're not careful. And this is the 18 on the field. That's Adam Grew. He was quite strong last week against Lakes. Now Gallen and Sumner. Oh, beautiful sleight of hand to Manson. He's dangerous in there. And away they go to Sumner again. They're working this left-hand side. That looks like big Simon Allen. Gallen. Moran. Schmiedel. He got away from Foran this time and keeps it going with Moran. And now they've got a bit of problem. And Moran's moving forward with it. They're 10 away. Briggs. He loves a snipe from close to the line. He puts it on the toe. And it's taken acrobatically by Willie Hedder. Saving the day for Cessnock. But they'll have to drop it out for the first time in the game.
Well, they had plenty of numbers out to the left, Macquarie. They didn't look up. There was so much space out to the left. Cessnock were very compact and probably had 2 on none out there, but in the end they went towards the middle with the kick. And here it is for Macquarie. They need to get something out of this, just for their confidence, if anything. Just need to get something.
They used up a lot of chances last week against Lakes. They probably had more ball on Lakes' line than Lakes had on theirs, but didn't get the points to go with it. As here comes Adam Grew again.
That's that confidence, as we were saying at the start. 7 losses in finals, haven't beaten Cessnock this year. Last week, we've got to overcome that here.
Here's Schmiedel. It was a great charge from Grew, and now Schmiedel's got a bit of space.
Let it go, Reed, let it go.
And he wasn't far away. It's bubbling away here for Macquarie. Flat to Gallen. He's going to have to take it himself there due to, well, a lack of available options. But they're set out to the left. Moran's set up to the right. It's Noble out there to Sumner. Metcalf came in. Sumner will run it himself. Sumner will score and lift the roof off Lowell Peacock Oval. Because Macquarie, who've lost their last 7 finals, are in front with half an hour to go. It's 8-6 with a kick to come.
Well, finally for Macquarie, they've held onto the ball. They've created a chance. Sumner sliced straight through. And now this is going to be a great final 30 minutes.
As we see on the replay here, they went to the left-hand side. I mentioned it in the live call that Metcalf had come up. They were all looking outside. Heta and Dan Metcalf, they were all looking at who Sumner was going to pass to. And, well, it's one of the first things you learn when you take up rugby league. The bloke with the ball's the one you got to watch.
He could have driven a bus through that gap. It was very wide in the Cessnock defence.
Yeah, a bit of footwork there from Sumner and it was all over. So they're in front.
Surprised the defence was so poor there from Cessnock. They did a lot of the attacking in the first half. Haven't done that much defence in the game and just so easy, sliding straight through. Maybe that defence, all that defence Macquarie did in the first half could come back to help them, give them a lot to go on in the final 30 minutes.
Well, this would be a lift. The kick from Matt Hay goes over. So Macquarie lead at 10-6 with 27 minutes to go. As we see the figure of Greg Ricketts just steaming through our pictures there, back to his position on the touchline. He's multi-talented. He's got the flag in one hand. He's spraying himself with water, all in full flight. He's a magnificent sight. Now, Willie Hedder has that ball on the tee again. For the 3rd time today, Cessnock find themselves kicking off. And Moran has the catch. And Grew has the run. It was his run, really, that sparked the attack. He went past them. He went past the first tackler and made lots of ground, taking it up off that dropout. And from there, Macquarie had the roll on.
We're getting good quick play the balls here, Macquarie.
They are. That's Mitch Corish on the field in the 14.
3, Brendan! Play it properly, Isaac, play it properly.
And Isaac Briggs, he didn't get a good play of the ball. He's lost it. What a big mistake at this stage of the game, having just let in a try. And I reckon if Barry Moore was anywhere near us, we'd be hearing about that one. I think he might be safely ensconced up in the press box.
Well, he'll be furious. You score a try, you want a good set, and you don't want an error like that to invite the opposition back into the game. And they've done just that, Macquarie. We'll see if Cessnock are good enough to take the opportunity.
Well, it's a great chance for them as Heta gives it away to Foran. They're going to try. Oh, dear, oh, dear. Well, that's the old coat hanger from Josh Schmiedel, and he's quite apologetic, I think, there. But that was a shocker. You see it happen so often. Liam Foran stepped off the left, and Schmiedel got him right around the neck.
See how much Foran can get on this kick for touch. That's a good touch finder. 15 metres out. Here's Cessnock's chance to get back in the game. As we said a moment ago, Barry Moore, well, that is the coach killer. He'll be very unimpressed with that from Macquarie. The knock on and then giving away the penalty. A double blow.
So here they go. And there was a big shout for offside there. It's the 17, Zeb Dunstan with the ball. Cessnock can set up camp here. A full set of tackles on Macquarie's line. Here's Powell out the back to Foran. He's got them set up with Heta and Metcalf. And Metcalf will have a go himself. Heta looks at it right. They go that way. Heta needs quick hands. He's going to go on himself. He's going to dummy. 5/8 at either side, it might be. But he's held up. Powell's in there at dummy half again. He sends it to Metcalf, who only knows one way. And he scored, I think, for Cessnock. Has he? No. He hasn't. He's held up. Great defence from Macquarie. The old battering ram tactic. And it didn't come off for them that time. Metcalf inexplicably has given the ball back to Macquarie, but it's not the end of the set, so he'll have to play it. Couple of tackles to go here. That's Foran. They go right again to Heta. They're up quickly on that side, Macquarie. And it's a strong tackle round the legs. Now here's Foran. Puts it to the sky. Woodbury's going to chase this hard. It's Corish who's under it. And he takes it very well indeed. The kick was a bit overcooked. He wasn't under too much pressure from Woodbury, but he was under the pressure of having to take a catch like that in a semi-final, and he did it very well.
Well, there was good kick pressure there on Liam Foran as he put the kick across Macquarie. The players got up and put a little bit of a hit on him, so forced the kick not to be one of his best. Macquarie, now they're the side that looks the most likely.
The roll's on here. The roll's well and truly on. Here's Moran. He's going to give it to Schmiedel again. He's getting more and more involved all the time. He's looking for the pass again, Schmiedel. He must be tempted to throw it. There's a bit of thrashing there from Apthorpe. Here's Gallen. Short ball. That was a bit of a hospital pass. They didn't have a dummy half there for a moment. Moran steps up. Out to Sumner. It goes onto the boot. It's an awkward-looking kick. It's really awkward. And Cal Orchard took it really well. He got thumped, but he did well. And there was a bit of trouble at dummy half there, but they got away with it, Cessnock.
A lot of pressure on Orchard there. Cal Orchard taking it beautifully. Grubber kick down low. Pressure everywhere from Macquarie. He did a great job.
22.5 minutes to go in the minor semi-final. One of these teams is 22.5 minutes away from Silly Sunday. And there's a couple of big changes being made by Cessnock at the moment. Noah Easton is interchange number 7. He's about to come on. And Josh Dimmick, he's interchange number 8. He's about to come on as well. Oh, no, number 6, in fact. Number 6. So they've got 3 left after Easton comes on. As Foran kicks down, finds the grass. And there's going to be a penalty here. Or is there going to be a knock on? What's happened here? We might need a replay of this one. He's going to say a scrum. So there must have been a bit of a fumble in there. I didn't see it live. But Cessnock turn it over in great field position.
Well, those errors down their own end second half. That's 2 errors in the second half, both down their own end from Cessnock. That's killing him at the moment.
Makes life very difficult. Macquarie score enough points on their own. You don't need to be giving them the ball. But that's what they've done. And Macquarie could make it terribly difficult indeed. Here's Manson. And Foran makes a second effort. He want to be careful. Yeah, he needed to be careful, all right. He's given away a penalty 40 metres out from his own line. Dear, oh dear, Liam Foran. That's a bit of a brain snap. He's got a bit of that in him. He's done that a couple of times this year. But that's the self-destruct sort of thing from Cessnock. And now, well, Macquarie, they're 20 out to start a full set of 6.
That was very, very silly from Foran. Second swinging arm across the chops, and Now Macquarie have a golden opportunity to go ahead by a little bit more.
And here's the run from Adam Grew.
2, movement.
Cessnock defending their line, possibly defending their season. They go away here to Sumner. It's over the top there to Jeffrey, who couldn't hold it. Metcalf falls on it. Cessnock get out of jail. And now referee Taylor's going to have a word. Metcalf's going to have a very stern word with Royce Jeffrey. And there's a bit of drama in there now. There's a few little scraps and a few handbags being swung. Nothing too serious. I don't think Taylor's going to penalise, although Kylie Aylett has come in, so she might be making a report. Looks like she is.
It's never good when you send the touch judge in for the players.
No, what's happening here? Is he going to call someone out? Malik Dalu, it looks like, is coming in. Well, he invited Dalu in chambers there and nothing came from it, but it's a penalty to Cessnock. So not only have they escaped their own mistake, but they get a bit of a advance up the field. And this is Corey Barber taking it up strongly. 10-6, 19 minutes to go on Bar TV. Morgan Campbell and Ben Homer bringing you all the action here today. We've got Lakes and West tomorrow from 3. As here's Halad.
He's been good today, Halad. So many metres up the middle of the ground. If we had a tracker on him, sure he'd be one of the best front rowers out there today.
Same thing every week from Brendan Halad. That's what he does. As Foran's putting a little kick here, it's bending towards Woodbury, who might get a hand on it, but all he could do was palm it forwards. It was a little bit of enterprise from Cessnock. It was a good idea, but the execution on that side of the field from Woodbury was always going to be difficult. And Macquarie get it back. If it works, you look like a genius. As it didn't, it probably looks like a bit of a soft turnover.
That's right, the kick across the ground. We saw that last night, Roosters Storm. The Hastings, the kick across the ground. I tell you what, there was probably there was a few Roosters fans that would have had a heart attack when they saw that.
It's one of them ones. If it works, you're a genius. If it doesn't, you're a goose. He was lucky. But Cessnock weren't lucky that time. And Macquarie, their forwards have been digging in. Jeffrey just hung onto that one and gets driven back.
Well, Cessnock, I think, have decided here.
Look out, knock on, muscle up, all right. It's a knock on from Matt Jeffrey. He was always on the back foot from the minute he had the fumbles. And in the end, being driven back, the balls come jarring out. What an opportunity this is.
And that makes the 13th error this afternoon for Macquarie. They're really starting them out. 8 in the first half and now 5 in the second half. If they don't get the job done this afternoon, I think Barrymore will look back on that and go, gee, got to cut those out.
Yeah, it's a similar story most weeks for Macquarie. They do make life a bit hard for themselves, as here's Willie Hetta. Cessnock looking to find something here, and they're going to get a penalty right next to the post. It's a scrum penalty. Well, I love a good scrum penalty. It's a beautiful bit of nostalgia.
So it's a differential penalty, so they
couldn't
can't
take the shot. Wouldn't have probably done it anyway. Here's Easton. I don't think a 2-point lead would be too much good, but yeah, differential penalty. One for those of the past. As here's Foran back inside to Ernst, who's copped another one high. That'll be another penalty. The crowd are getting very excited. There's a couple of people yelling out, "Take the 2." I don't know if that'll be the option. They're going to have a word here. It was a pretty bog-standard high tackle from Blake Gallen, you'd reckon.
I think that's the old call from the Macquarie fans here. Take the 2.
Yeah, a bit of false advice, I suppose. So Gallen and Schmiedel getting a talking to over that one. Captain and player. Now, you'd imagine Cessnock will tap and go, surely to heavens. Dimmick, yep, that's what he's going to do, and he's going to give it to Dan Metcalf, who's just going to have a crack close to the line. You feel that this is a big moment in the game. Cessnock with a great chance. Dimmick in a dummy half. Foran over to Heta. Heta's going to go at himself and opened up there for a minute. It still opens up for him, and he's over in the right-hand corner. Cessnock a level through Willie Heta. And just as Andrew Sumner did up the other end of the field, it's the 5'8", finding a bit of space. When everybody was wondering who he'd pass it to, he thought, I'll go this myself, and he's over. And he'll take the kick to try and put Cessnock in front.
Well, that was all set up by the run from Metcalf. Macquarie all around the play the ball. There was about 8 players in the middle of the park. They had no one out wide. Header found the space. Great job.
Let's have a look at the replay.
Back in the game.
I reckon there's a few missed tackles in this as Foran gave it over there to Header. Yeah, there's a miss there from Allen, and there's a miss there from Briggs. Oh, it's Jeffrey, in fact. And over he went. And look what it means. There was a real roar from the Cessnock supporters down here on the hill.
We're just seeing the Macquarie fans in the background. Hands to their heads. Not impressed, but if he doesn't knock this one over, we could be going on forever like we did last week.
Here we go.
Could be golden point.
I didn't bring a bottle of water, but there you go. I'd be up for it.
I tell you what, I had to bring the buffet on Monday night. Get through, what was it? 2 hours and... What was it, 128, so 2 hours and 8 minutes.
Yep, 48 minutes of extra time in the Group 21 Grand Final. And Denman, well, they eventually got the cash over Scone.
Wolfgang with the try. What a name. What an awesome name
It's a
that
good name. It's the sort of name, it's someone you'd expect to really come up with a clutch play. When in doubt, give it to Wolfgang. So Willie Hedder's got it on the tee here. We haven't had extra time in a final for a while. I reckon the last semi-final or final that went to extra time in this competition might have been that very famous Maitland and West Grand Final a couple of years ago when no less than the Macquarie halfback Mick Moran, playing for Maitland at the time, sunk a field goal from 45 metres out, 5 in from touch. Here's Willie Hedder. He's getting a little bit of encouragement from the Macquarie support. Here goes the kick. It looks... Oh, no, it's not going over. No, Ricketts and Aylett, they didn't like it. So Macquarie escape with the scores still level. 14 minutes to go. And this is going to get very twitchy indeed.
Well, haven't we got a grandstand finish set up? Macquarie, they've got to stop giving away the penalties. That's 4 for Cessnock in the second half. It's pretty even before then. Overall, Cessnock 5 penalties, Macquarie 3 now with a couple of those on the goal line.
Games like this, they often just come down to who can hang on to the ball, who can avoid making a mistake, or who's willing to take a big risk. We're into the championship rounds in the minor semi-final. As Noah Easton takes it forward, and of course fitness plays a part as well. I mentioned it at the top of the program that this is probably a warmer day than most of these players would have played in throughout the season. And there might be some tired legs. So here's 4 and he's going to kick. And he'll jam it pretty much down the middle and put it straight on the chest of Mitch Manson. And that's far from ideal because he's going to get 30 metres up the field before he's hit. And he's going to wind up 25 metres up the field by the time they're done with him. At what stage do you start thinking field goal? Is it time enough now?
I think you got to go now. I think as early as you possibly can, you can put it over. And now we were laughing at it.
The Willie Hedder.
We were laughing at it at the back end of the
7-4.
7-4 lead. Would have given them a 1 point advantage at this point.
It'd be looking all right now. You're quite right. Here's Schmiedel, and he's up the guts. And he's very dangerous when he does that back on the inside. And if there's tired defenders, he'll make them pay. Over there to Sumner, the dangerous player in this game. Away to Gallen. He's got some space. Blake Gallen for Macquarie. Throws the miracle ball to Noble. Noble falls over. 5 out from the line. Last tackle. Very slow play the ball. The sin bin could be a chance here. The Macquarie fans like it. Out the back. There's Randall Briggs. There's Randall Briggs for Macquarie. Running through a gap. Hitting the perfect line. Macquarie, as soon as they were drawn level, they're back in front. 14-10 with a kick to come next to the posts. And it has swung very much back their way.
Well, Briggs ran through the Sydney heads there. Diddy Watt and Macquarie back in the game, put themselves back in front. And we'll have a look at the replay. Good composure, I thought there, Morgan, from Macquarie.
As
very
Gallen,
slow play the ball off the break.
Gallen
there should have been a penalty for sure.
Yeah, it was very slow. They gave their defenders every chance to get back. But then Randall Briggs, you can see him lurking behind the line there. And Sumner just held it up. Schmiedel ran the decoy, and they just didn't have the troops. They didn't have the men. It's a simple game, rugby league, and the numbers triumphed there. But Sumner out of dummy half was clever enough to throw the killer pass.
I was thinking to myself, it probably wasn't a bad idea there for the drop goal, but they found space because Cessnock were all back on their own line. I didn't expect it to be a hole that wide. And especially with them all going back, it would have been a decent opportunity, but good play. They made the right decision there. And this one, well, he probably should be able to throw this one over and make it 16-10. And this could be the last 10 minutes of Cessnock's season if they don't turn it around soon.
Mitch Corish has got the job. You'd think he'd be well and truly favourite. As there's a player coming from the field, Corish puts the kick over to popular acclaim. And Mick Moran is coming back onto the field. So he was benched a little while ago, but he's coming back on in the 7. As the 9, Jordan Noble, comes from the field with an injury. So Mick Moran went off, he's come back on.
I think it was in the break there, Noble. He got tackled. He was somewhat involved in the break with Gallen. What a run it was from the captain.
Yeah, he was stopped very abruptly, Jordan Noble, and might have just dug in the turf there and injured something.
Should say not the captain. He was called up before. I was thinking that Schmiedel is for Macquarie. Am I right? Am I right with that one? Schmiedel
I think Gallen might be the captain. No, I think you were right the first time, yeah. So here's Corish. Cessnock have got to find something. As you say, 10 minutes to go in their season if they don't find something here. Here's Matt Jeffrey, and he's punished there by Corey Barber. They're up quickly. They're probably going to walk a fine line here with the referee for this last 10 minutes. Schmiedel back on the inside. He's almost through. He's almost through. It was a good tackle from Halad. And now they've got the roll on. They might want to throw this. Manson with the ball. And he's going to be very dangerous with his agility in the last few minutes. And they go the short side with Sumner. And he puts in one of those kicks that you can't do a lot with. And Cal Orchard's got to bring it back. And it's a wall. They've lifted here, Macquarie. Someone from one of these sides had to lift, and it's been the Macquarie side that's done it so far.
Well, Morgan, really, since Macquarie grabbed that first try in the second half, the down 6-4, they got that first try out to the left. They've just got so much confidence. It was Sumner that went through. They've got so much confidence from that. They really looked a bit out of sorts before then. Since then, they've been the better side. Cessnock have just been trying to hold on for the ride until they got 8.5 minutes to try and scrap down the other end, get the ball over the line and get it back level.
So foreign kicks, they formed a bit of a queue there. Corish and Manson, sorry. But Corish brings it back out on that wing. He's been steady since he came on. The referee's tempted again here, but says no. Here's Manson. And they'll want to be getting him the ball as often as they can now to try and run around tired defenders. Sam Apthorpe is about to be Cessnock's 9th change. So they're using them almost all up. And there might have been a little knock on there in the tackle from Hay. It's a very sloppy play, the ball. And that's the 18. That's Adam Grew, who's made some very important charges. They're rolling forward now. Gallen over there. There's a little kick through. And Ernst has got to be quick. In fact, it's Woodbury in the end. And Travis Edwards, having put the kick in, then was good enough to chase it. But this might be a drive. Ethan Ernst back in the in goal. Oh, dear, oh, dear. Well, talk about lifting. Macquarie, they haven't won in their last 7 finals games. And with 7.5 minutes to go, they're 6 points in front and about to receive a dropout. And I reckon after a couple of tackles here, the field goal has got to be red-hot favourite.
I was going to say, Morgan, you can't get a much better kick than that one, right into the corner. The only better kick is one that you score off or it goes into the in-goal. But then the second play, second tackle, great driving tackle. Gee, Macquarie, they've turned it up in the second half.
Oh, Schmiedel! Josh Schmiedel! He wouldn't have been expecting it. It was a shortish dropout. And it went arrowing over towards him, bounced off his chest and went into touch.
Can I take back my last comments? Commentators curse big time.
How about dodging a bullet for Cessnock? 6 minutes, 45 seconds to go on Bar TV. The real NRL semi-finals.
Well, we're going to get an exciting last 6.5. Cessnock are going to throw caution to the wind.
Straight away, Willie Header. He must fancy someone with pace. Ethan Ernst is the furthest chaser. Mitch Manson's he's got plenty of gap on him at the moment. Manson's going to pick this up, and that might have been a bit of a panic play from Cessnock.
Tackle. Let him
The
go,
field
boys.
position is good, but the chase back from Cessnock is not, and they might try and spread it Macquarie if they're brave. But here's Corish, and he's hit hard. The defenders are back in position now pretty much for Cessnock.
Wasn't a bad option in the end. If they can muscle up in defence, Cessnock, they can cause some problems for Macquarie.
I think the kick needed to be aimed more at the touchline to bring those wingers into play. Manson was down the middle of the field, and he always had the lead. It's over to Moran. Moran's going to have a run here, and he looked dangerous there for a minute. It was a good tackle. He's up quickly, and Sumner might have a snap at a 40-20 here. But Ernst gets the bounce, and he's going to set sail for the 40-metre line and get absolutely clouted by Macquarie, who look like they're coming home strongly here. They don't look like tired. They look like they want this more at the moment.
If they can spin it to the left, Cessnock, if they can get it wide. Macquarie very compact in defence, but it looked like they're going down the middle. But Ernst, his run back, he laboured back, and he just pretty much sat there pretty much saying, hit me.
Oh, and the short ball to Hugo. They're up quickly, Macquarie.
I think he's in trouble, Ernst. He's limping
Yeah, he
badly. Just didn't
He's
look like he
foreign.
ran back fluently at all.
Williams, he hasn't been very involved today, Williams. They haven't got him the ball, and he can be very dangerous. He's foreign. The kick's on again. They're going to chip and chase here, and Gallen takes it very comfortably in the middle of the field. I can't help but feel they might be panicking a little bit here, Cessnock. They're trying to score off every tackle at the moment. 5 minutes to go. Manson, here he goes. We said he'd be dangerous in the middle of the park. Everybody in Toronto was off their feet there for a minute.
Wait for it.
But they are trotting at the moment. Moran away to Diallo. There's a bit of invective and advice from the crowd. The field goal will be on here in a couple of tackles, you'd reckon. They're keeping it up the middle. That's always a good sign. Here's Moran. We know he can kick them. Couple of tackles still up the sleeve. Sumner's at dummy half.
3 done.
Flat to Gallen. I reckon the field goal's coming next tackle. I reckon it's coming. Out the back. Here it is. And it's charged down. And Apthorpe's going to get there. Can he fall on it? He can. He can fall on it. Travis Edwards took the field goal and he hit it too flat into the chest of Sam Apthorpe. Now they're holding down and there's huge appeals for a penalty. Four, and they'll go wide with Hedder and Metcalf. And there might be some broken defence. Metcalf's through. He's over the 20. He's got one to beat and he can't do it. Great tackle around the legs, Mitch Manson.
That could be a match winner, Morgan. What a
So
tackle.
much pressure in defence now for Macquarie. Cessnock throwing the kitchen sink with 3.5 to go. Foreign, Hugo, they had the numbers and he lost it. They had the numbers and he put it down. They could have scored there, Cessnock, but Reid Hugo, under a bit of pressure, spilt the ball. And Macquarie survive
14.
with 3 minutes 15 to go.
Wow, Mitch Manson, what a tackle. I think every man and his dog here would have tipped Metcalf to go straight through. That was an awesome tackle. That was Kurt Gidley, little man on a bigger man, and he took him down big time. And that could be the game here, that tackle.
Big chance there. Big chance for Cessnock. Metcalf, it just shows it doesn't matter how big you are or how little you are. If they go around the legs, that's their best chance. And Mitch Manson showed it at fullback today. He was in the centres last week, but he's good value at fullback today. He might have saved Macquarie's season. Jeffrey taking it forward now. There's 2.5 to go. And it's over there to Briggs, the centre, who stuck it on the boot. Ernst comes back with it. What have they got? Ernst went down the short side there. It was dangerous, but he lost his footing. Cessnock have got 70 metres to go. If they don't do it now, they might not get another chance. Here's Woodbury. They're up very quickly, Macquarie. There's appeals for offside. And there's a penalty. A penalty for the lift. And oh dear, I got to tell you, I know I had harsh words about the lifting tackle earlier, but that one was very, very gentle. And I think Macquarie are entitled to be a little bit aggrieved. We're getting the grandstand finish here, Ben.
Oh, that's exactly right. Well, I didn't agree.
They're offside off the tap. And Hugo cops one round the neck.
The Cessnock fans are going off, but I didn't think there was too much in it. But, you know, it was a little bit of a lift and shift and given the penalty.
So 4 and inside. Here's Apthorpe. One of these sides finishes today.
Macquarie, we'll see what they can do. Wow.
4 and Hetta. Hetta's driven. Big tackle. Big tackle. Cal Orchard out of dummy half. He's hit a bit high, but it's all right. A minute 21 left.
Great defence from Macquarie again.
Now or never for Cessnock. Dimmick over to Header. Header short to Metcalf. He's not far away. There's an appeal for the try. But he hasn't given it. He's lost the ball. He's lost the ball. And Macquarie, with a minute and 4 to go, are on their way to a grand final qualifier. There's no coming back now, you wouldn't think. If Macquarie hold on to the ball and put it into touch, they're a game away from the grand final.
Well, the 40-metre, the little cube they put on the 40-metre line, Cessnock bench kicked it onto the field. Absolutely furious. Well, I saw them cheering on the far side of the ground. I was thinking, aren't there Macquarie fans over there? And that was because he dropped the ball. They saw the dropping of the ball, and Macquarie have been the better side here today. Cessnock have gone to their big guns. They've gone for the big crash over try. And really, it's the referee that's going to decide when this one's going to end, because we're still ticking.
26 seconds. So they've used 30. They've used about 40 or 38 seconds there in packing the scrum. And Macquarie, all they have to do is run it now. 20 seconds to go. They'll count down all the way here. Here's Randall Briggs. He's absolutely belted around the head. He's absolutely belted around the head, and there won't be time for any more. I think he's a bit crook too, Randall Briggs. Brendan Halad got him high. That's all there's going to be time for. They're counting it down. Time's actually been called off. There's 7 seconds left. Macquarie are going to have to restrain their jubilation for a minute because time has been called off. Taylor's going to have a word.
But you've got him pretty good, okay? Just work on there.
But they're going to win, and they love it. 7 losses in a row. And today, the dam breaks. And this will be tapped, and they're going to run backwards, a bit of a tribute to Tony Iro, and run into touch and finish the game for Macquarie. It's been a long time coming, and Barry Moore, if our cameras can pick him up, is dancing about. He is elated. It's like they've won the grand final. And they richly deserve it today, Macquarie. I'm sure you'll agree with me, Ben Homer, that they were the better team. They were well and truly the better team today.
You're exactly right.
They found more in the big moments. Your thoughts on the game and maybe a man of the match?
Yeah, well, I thought Macquarie really, over the course of the game, they were the better side. They just had to get that confidence in the second half. They got the first try. They got themselves over the line, and they just seemed to exude confidence. Just have a lot of confidence after that. For Cessnock, they really didn't get into the game. They're a bit scrappy. Tries that they did score, they went to Metcalf early to try and bulldoze his way over. Really not much going on there. Their attack was a bit disjointed. That's why I think Macquarie probably deserved to go through to the big game next week, either against Western Suburbs or against Lakes, whoever loses tomorrow. Man of the match, you also said. I thought the fullback for Macquarie, Mitch Manson, that try-saving tackle. That was huge on Metcalf with 3 minutes 50 to go.
Yep. And we said it at the time, it could have saved the match, and that's how it proved. And look at this. The Macquarie fans, they've seen a bit of pain over the last few years in the semi-finals, and they're giving the Macquarie players a bit of applause, and the Macquarie players are giving it back. The fans have kept turning up, and, well, they find themselves a game away from the grand final. They'll play the loser of tomorrow's match between Wests and Lakes at Harker Oval next Sunday at St John Oval in a game to decide the second grand finalist. Barry Moore, he's delighted.
Well, I think
it's his last year as Macquarie coach, and he's taken them to within a game of the grand final. He loves it.
Well, I think if Lakes lose tomorrow, they've got that confidence. They only went down to them last week, that they can take them down. Western Suburbs, well, that's going to be a whole different kettle of fish for them, really. So we'll see what happens tomorrow and see who they've got to take on.
Well, tomorrow's going to be an absolute belter. I'm sure you'll agree with me. Today's been an absolute belter. Drama and tension, and both sides had a chance with a couple of minutes to go. Thank you very much, Ben, for stepping in off the interchange bench this afternoon, stepping up to do the job with me here today. I hope everybody out there has enjoyed this game as much as we have, and I say this as someone from Cessnock who follows Cessnock, that nobody could begrudge. Oh, look out, there's a blue one up behind the goalposts. Nobody could begrudge Macquarie this victory today. I think there's a bit of trouble up on the hill here or on the way out of the ground. there's players jumping the fence here. This is very unseemly. We've got the cameras on this, I think. And there's players over there who have jumped the fence to get involved. And
Well,
why you would
Macquarie
do
fans down there?
Oh, it must be, I think. But the Cessnock players are the ones who jump the fence to get involved in a bit of a fracas. I don't know why in the world you'd do that, even if your season is over. The Macquarie players, they've had a bit more sense. They've stayed on the side of the fence and they're just thinking about next week, you'd imagine. But the man on the microphone saying, everybody keep walking, break it up, go home. And that's a bit of an unsavoury end of the day. The Cessnock players now just jumping back over the fence. And common sense, it seems, has regained primacy. But despite everything else, you can read about it in the paper tomorrow. Macquarie, well, they deserve it. It's Macquarie 16, Cessnock 10 at full time here at Lowell Peacock Field. Thank you very much, Ben.
Thank you, Morgan. It's been great.
I've been helped more than ably by Ben Homer. And I'll see you tomorrow with Josh Leeson at Harker Oval for Western Suburbs up against Lakes. Until then, it's bye for now.
Real guys, real sport. Bar TV.